looking? Want to see what I have cooking today in my kitchen? Well, grab a hold of that vine and swing onto my kitchen and let's get cooking. Good looking. Today, I'm going to sit there and talk about things that I will and that I won't ever can again. So, let's go ahead and get started. Heather over at the Needy Homesteader, she invited me to do this collaboration with her and a couple of the other women. Let's get started. As you see, I have a vast array of some of the things I can. This is not all of them. This is just some of them, just so y'all get the gist of what I will can and what I will not can again, because back. Mushroom jam. Now, it took my family a little bit to warm up to the idea of mushroom jam. Now, you may be like one of them, and right away they thought to put on your morning toast. You know, no, Ma. No. You know, it's just like with my frog jam. They were, really hesitant about that until I made a few things with the frog jam. And yeah, they like the things that I made with the frog jam. And besides that, frog jam is really good on toast. My tomato jam. That's another good jam. This happens to be my mother-in-law's tomato jam that she made. Here's another version of the frog jam. Now, I like both ways. My husband prefers the Amish way. I also can up cheddar cheese sauce. The taco sauce, oh yeah. I do a lot of condiments, and yes. Besides that, it saves this household a lot of money. Toe jam, that's really good too, and I use that in several ways. The crushed Italian tomatoes, them are a must in my pantry. Let me go over on this side. The marinara sauce that I make, that's a must. My caramelized onion and red wine pizza sauce, oh my God. This is some of the best pizza sauce that I have ever made. So I have to always make more of that, and I'm learning that I have not yet made enough of that. So this year I'm hoping I put enough of that up. The strawberry banana jam, that is really good. Grape jelly from the grapes that I grow. Bloody Mary mix, that, I love using that, and I use that a lot, and I use it in my Bloody Mary chili that I do make. The Southeast Asian sweet and sour sauce, we love that in a lot of stir fries. Asparagus, I love to can up asparagus. I'm sorry if I'm reaching in front of the camera. I guess I should just walk around it. My habanero jelly that I make. And these are all in the Ball canning cookbooks that I have made up. And if it's not in that, it's in one of the other canning cookbooks that I do use. A few of these are Rebel canning recipes, such as my cheddar cheese here. That would be a Rebel one. I haven't come across any. The mushroom jam. That would also be another rebel one that I do can up. So far I haven't come across, but if I come across any more, I'll be sure to point them out that that's a rebel recipe of one of mine. Amish Traffic Jam. Now this happens to be a favorite of my family's. Just like the Bumbleberry Jam here. That also seems to be a favorite. Now, here's another sweet and sour sauce. Like I say, I use a lot of condiments. Now this happens to be one of my favorites. Apricot jam. I can never get enough apricot jam. I use apricot jam just not to put on my toast or in my Pop-Tarts. I use it in so many different things. I just love this stuff. Here's also another one of my favorites. My whiskey sour jelly. Huh. Baked beans with this? Oh my God. Oh yeah. Love, love, love. Love my bruschetta. I cannot seem to get to learn the curve that I need to put up of bruschetta. I seem to always run out because it's that good. I can up my own Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce. That came from a dear friend of mine that's no longer here. And again, I'm reaching in front of the camera, and I'm so sorry. Black beans for the redneck caviar that I make. That's a perfect amount that I need. Canning of meat. I love putting meat in jars, and sometimes I like putting meals together in a jar, and a roast beef dinner along with beef stroganoff. I don't have a beef stroganoff out here because I know the men in the family took that on their hunting trip with them. Mulberry Jam, and this happens to be an Amish recipe for that. Elderberry jelly. This family and I raised my kids up on elderberry jelly, and trust me, have elderberry and you won't be sick. This is one of my favorite salsas. It's the Blue Ribbon Spicy Salsa. I love that one, and if I run out of that one, I love my other hot spicy salsa that I do mix up. Grape pie filling. Love to have grape pie filling. I'm going to be doing an elderberry pie filling, so I don't have one of them out here, but that's a video to come. But yeah, I love pie fillings. Another one of my favorite jams is the strawberry rhubarb jam. The cranberry pineapple jam here that I make, that's also being proven to be a good one. That I like to have a lot of varieties of jams and jellies because this family is a toast eating family, and if it's not in toast, we'll have Pop-Tarts or Danishes or sweet rolls. But on with the show. Bloody Mary base mix. We love having that. I think I talked about this sweet and sour. And a bumbleberry jam. and this also happens to be an Amish recipe. Amish Traffic Jam, that's a family favorite. Pecan pie filling. Now, oh yeah, this happens to be one of the best things I could ever have canned up. Along with my caramel apple pie filling. I also do a pie filling, and I don't think I have it out here. But it's a caramel apple pie filling that has cranberries in it, ground venison. My family loves the ground venison. Now when I can any of my meats up, it's a must. I will not can up any raw meats. No. No raw canning of meats for this chickie. For one, it looks disgusting in the jars. Two, when you open up the jar, it smells equally as disgusting. Now when you par cook it, it looks a lot nicer in a jar. And for some reason, the texture of the meat is really nice. It's tomato herb jam. This is what I would refer to as adult ketchup. This is excellent on meatloaves. Here's another all-time favorite of mine. My Moonshine apple slices. I love sitting there putting a few of these apple slices in my little jars. The Pleasure Lady's Happy Juice. Oh yeah. You guys sit there. I have a recipe for the apple pie moonshine, and I'll be sure to put a link to that because that's what I put these all in. Now this is something I have not yet tried because I'm waiting, but it's grape juice, and I learned this from a Amish lady or a Mennonite lady. So I'm waiting to try this one out, so I cannot tell you how this is, but I usually can up my juices like I have back here in this big one, which is elderberry juice. I also have big ones like this of grape juice. I also can up cranberry sauce. I don't have any out here because that's also another recipe that I will be making. Cranberry raspberry jam. That's also another. I really enjoy that one. I love making my own tomato paste. Leo. So I love making that. I also make tomato paste, and I just recently have done it, and I made it all yellow tomato paste, but I dehydrated it. So I like both forms of my tomato paste. I make my own stock, and that happens to be chicken stock. We talked about the salsa. Sun-dried tomatoes. I like doing them. And, talking about, I'm going to be showing you all how to make your own, what I would sit there and call my redneck china. I like making my own pasta sauces, tomato juice. This happens to be one of my favorites. French onion soup mix, or soup. I love adding this to a lot of things. I also love my beef bone broth that I do make. My husband loves canned beets. I rather have them pickled. And again, stewed tomatoes. I love putting up stewed tomatoes because we go through a lot of them. Like I say, caramel apple pie filling. My pecan pie filling. Calico Pickles. Now, I grew up with these Calico Pickles. Now, that is an absolute must. My kids were brought up on these. Now, my family will sit there and usually fight for either the carrots that are, it's in like a dill brine. And I'm telling you, when these vegetables take on that dill brine, oh my God, it's heaven in your mouth. And I'm proud to sit there and say I was brought up on these. And Mrs. Wolfie and I talked, I think it was maybe 2 summers now ago, and I was so glad that she sat there and tried some out herself. She didn't quite follow, the recipe that I gave her, which is quite fine, because you know what? Her family loved her version of Calico Pickles, so be sure to go over and watch Mrs. Wolfie's video of that. But yeah, I grew up with them. Mrs. Wage's dill pickles, love them. Them out. Apple cranberry pie filling, love that in an apple crisp. Bread and butter pickles, and this is how we usually do our pickles when we do them. If you notice, there's a theme with all my pickles. We love baby pickles. We love the texture when they're canned. They seem to hold up. Here is the old version of dill pickles versus right here. This is Mrs. Wage's pickles. And in a blind taste test, I really can't tell the taste, the difference between my family's home recipe and Mrs. Wage's. We made some bread and butter Calico Pickles up, and this is a must in my pantry. Rotel Tomatoes. I have to have Rotel Tomatoes done up. Carrots, I'm not a carrot fan. I add them to a lot of things, but I'm just not into carrots. I will put them into my dishes, and I really don't like it, but it adds flavor to the dish. I'm really into making it into a powder. So, I mean, if you have some really fussy kids out there, like what I was as a kid, I would sit there and take all these dehydrated carrots right here. I would put them in my coffee grinder, and I would pulverize them like I do here with my mushroom powder. That way, my little finicky eater doesn't know there's carrots in there, and they're getting carrots. So, and yes, this is the only way I will sit there and do mushrooms. I do can mushrooms up. I don't have any because I have to do that yet. Banana powder. I love banana powder. And I just love having dehydrated banana powder when I want to sit there and make a quick bread. All I have to do is just sit there and take a few tablespoons of this, and voila, I can make banana bread whenever. And I'm in the middle of nowhere when we're all camping. I also love dehydrating banana chips and apple chips, pear chips, most of all, any fruit chips. My husband and myself, we love them. I do my squash powders, or I do squash and pumpkin, and I turn them into powders. Well, my husband forgot to take this along with him because this is the camper's container, and well, I've been enjoying it. I filled it up for him to take to a camping trip with him, but he left it behind. But I've been enjoying pumpkin pies and custards and that. Like I said, I love doing tomato powders. I do an Italian tomato paste. I do a red tomato paste. I do a yellow tomato paste. I also do, and that's on the dehydrator, is a Mexican tomato paste. So yeah, I call these my Rachel Ray squeeze tube tomato paste. I mean, them tomato paste in a tube are really expensive. So now let's get on to the things I will never can again. Let's quickly get to the things that I do not can, or I would never can again. Well, celery, that's one of the very top of the ones on the list. Blood oranges, never again, never. Cream corn, I didn't care for this recipe, so I crossed that one off of my list. The chocolate cherry jam, I'm not too much of a fan for it. Pawpaws by Water barbecue sauce, it's an alright barbecue sauce. I just don't think I would be canning it again. It's not a favorite of ours. I mean, it's good. Like I said, don't get me wrong. It is a good recipe, but I just don't think it's one for my family. Pina Colada Jam. That's another one I thought we would like, but I mean, it's a good jam, but not as good as what I thought it would be. Green apple soda jelly. It's an interesting one for a gourmet jelly. Would I can it again? I know. For my personal use, no. But to sell, it's a good seller. Jungle Love Jam. It's a good jam, but we just don't really go through it like all my other jams. But again, another good seller, just like my chocolate cherry jam, my pina colada jam, the soda jelly. Them are all good sellers. I just don't like them myself. Now, this jam, this was on one of my my canning bucket list. Yeah. I do have a canning bucket list, and I do try to do a few things each year and try to see if, I stepped way out of my comfortable zone, and I'm taking a leap of faith and keeping my fingers crossed, my toes crossed, my legs crossed, and hoping that I come across something that, wow, why was I so afraid to can this? Well, this wasn't one of them. So I would not do the carrot jam, even though it does taste like apricots. It's just not for me. I am too spoiled on my apricot jam. Rum Island butter. It's an alright jam. My family's not too big into. My family's really not big into the tropical jams. I thought they would be because they really like the monkey butter that I make. Now this Thai dipping sauce it's a good sauce, but if I would make it again, I would have to make like a half batch. I have so much of this right now, and basically I'm the only one who uses it, and it's way too much for me. And Sex on the Beach jam, another great seller of mine. I just don't prefer that myself. And then I didn't like canning chili. I just didn't like the texture of the meat with the chili. I'd rather do that all myself. I'd rather grab a can of the canned ground beef that I've done, open that up, and grab a jar of my Bloody Mary mix. I'd rather just make it that way. The Sloppy Joes, they were okay, but there again, I'm too spoiled in just making them on the fly. I thought I would like them in the can form. It's alright for when we go camping and stuff. It's great for that. Spaghetti sauce with meat in it. No, I do not like that at all. I mean, I love the spaghetti sauce. I love canned ground beef on it, so, but you put the two together and no, I do not like that. Let's see. I think basically that's it. All I do know is that with this little, what I would can and what I would not can again, it has me seeing what I do have a lot of canning to do, but I do can year round, and that is expected. And also, if you ever notice, canning comes with your ebbs and your flows. One year you may have a spectacular year of growing tomatoes. In the next few years, you may not have hardly anything that grew. I've had that happen to me. I've had berry years that were out of this world, and then the next few years, the berries, they're very sparse and very few for the taking. So that also fluctuates a lot on what we do can. I try not to can more than what I could personally eat with my husband or a few family members. I do not like going past the 18-month mark on most of mine. I like to keep rotating out. I'm going down to these smaller jars. I used to have everything all done up in these big old quart jars. Well, now they're all for like my pickles or my pie fillings. Now by pie fillings, I have a lot of pie fillings to do this year, and I'm going to be bringing you along with that for the making of all of them. I think that's it. So I hope that you enjoyed, and if you enjoyed what you all saw here, be sure to watch everybody else's playlist of what they would can and what they wouldn't can. The responses have been quite interesting. I've enjoyed this quite a bit, ladies. Thank you for asking me, Heather. Heather over at the Needy Homesteader, she asked me to join in on this, and I want to thank you, Heather. Thank you so much for inviting me. I have enjoyed it. Hit that like button down below. Go up above. Hit that subscribe button. Tap that little bell. That way you'll always be notified every time I put on a new recipe. Or a new video for that matter. And most of all, y'all come back now. You hear? Bye.